CBT News is expanding its reach like never before and is launching in over 70 million broadcasting households. Whether you have Roku, Apple TV, or a mobile device running on Android or iOS, you can now enjoy our engaging, in-depth interviews with dealers, automakers, trade associations, best-selling authors, motivational speakers, and so much more, whenever and wherever you are. Simply search CBT News in the App Store of your smart TV. Welcome to CBT News with Shyann Malone.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to CBT News. I'm Shyann Malone. Thanks so much for watching. On today's show, we are joined by Carl Brower, executive analyst at iSeeCars.com. But first, here's a look at today's top automotive industry stories.
A majority of employees at Volkswagen's Tennessee plant have joined United Auto Workers leaders in demanding unionization at their factory. The UAW announced on Tuesday that most of the 5,500 VW manufacturing workers have now signed union authorization cards, setting up the possibility of an official election with the Department of Labor. In December of 2023, organization officials revealed that they had already won the support of 30% of the factory's workforce. The UAW has been campaigning at non-union automaker facilities across the country since concluding historic contract negotiations with the Detroit 3 last October. Tesla may be gearing up to lay off workers at its facilities after calling on managers to identify, quote, critical, end quote, employees. In a Bloomberg report, anonymous sources claimed the electric vehicle maker sent their request shortly after canceling performance reviews for some team members. The news comes as Tesla faces profitability pressures, a downturn in EV demand, and sharp declines in marketing valuation, despite efforts to improve cost efficiency and product affordability. In December, the company informed its workforce that it would not award merit-based stock compensation to employees, postponing the practice after multiple years. Honda has boosted its earnings expectation for the fiscal year ending March 31st, after reporting impressive profit gains for the third quarter. During the October through December period, the automaker's operating profit rose 35% to roughly $2.5 billion, thanks in part to a sharp increase in global sales. The company now expects to generate roughly $8.4 billion in annual income, a 4.2% increase from its initial forecast of $8 billion. Last year marked the first time in 8 years that Honda's performance improved in the US, where brand sales rose 33% from 2022. Hyundai is seeking a declaratory judgment that will allow it to open a new store in Massachusetts after a nearby dealership challenged the move on grounds it violated state regulations. The automaker had originally hoped to open McGovern Hyundai in Danvers in early January, but was blocked by Pride Hyundai, a dealership located just 7 miles from the new location. Pride claims the move would violate a Massachusetts law preventing car manufacturers from opening multiple stores in the same market area. Hyundai maintains that its contract with the current storefront does not guarantee exclusive rights to the region. The company has sued the dealership in federal court and is asking for a permanent injunction allowing the McGovern store to open as planned.
Don't go anywhere. Coming up next, we have Carl Brower. He's here to discuss the results of Tesla's latest earnings call. We'll be right back with that.
CBT News is expanding its reach like never before and is launching in over 70 million broadcasting households. Whether you have Roku, Apple TV, or a mobile device running on Android or iOS, you can now enjoy our engaging, in-depth interviews with dealers, automakers, trade associations, best-selling authors, motivational speakers, and so much more, whenever and wherever you are. Simply search CBT News in the App Store of your smart TV.
So tell us, what is your assessment of the latest Tesla earnings statement?
Yeah, it's interesting because it isn't like Tesla massively missed their numbers. And it's not like they don't have some really impressive ongoing numbers. I mean, the Model Y is an extremely hot selling vehicle globally. Okay. It's one of the best selling vehicles on the planet. So a lot of people, certainly a lot of Tesla enthusiasts, are wondering what's with the hate? Why is everyone so unhappy with the company all of a sudden? But I think you always have to remember that, especially on a financial basis and stock value, it's never current or certainly past, looking or back looking. It's forward looking. And all the trend lines are getting a little worrisome for Tesla. And you mentioned the lowering of the prices that has been pretty dramatic over the past year, and the impact that has had on both revenue and profit. And you look at something like the Cybertruck, which took forever to get out, of course. A lot of people were hoping this was going to be like Tesla's F-150, the huge driver of volume and profit for them. And Elon came out and admitted as much in the past 6 months that it's not going to be the profit driver he thought. It's going to take longer to ramp up production. And I think there's already been some question on its performance. People are talking about, was that drag race faked? And is it really as good off road? There's lots of video of it being stuck somewhere. So I think that we're not really thrilled with the Cybertruck. We're not thrilled with the prices dropping. And we have a lot of other things that have been on the back burner, supposedly, that we still don't see any real progress on, like full self-driving. And all of this comes in an atmosphere where electric vehicle competition just keeps getting more intense. Tesla essentially had like a decade of really being almost the only game in town. Mm-hmm. You had Nissan Leafs and Chevrolet Bolts, but you didn't really have anything that was of a Tesla caliber for most of the past decade. And now in the last few years, there's been a real rush into this market by so many other automakers, new and established and traditional. And so Tesla's looking at more competition every day, every year. We see their market share within the electric vehicle market dropping every quarter. They lose more market share. And it's inevitable when you were the main guy for a while and now there's millions coming in. But that's just another piece of this pie.
So when a company, educate me on this, has to, reduce prices, right, on their inventory, and that's still not helping the situation, elaborate on that for me. Then what? Where are some options going forward?
Yeah, I mean, the way you sell anything, particularly cars, is you have a price that people feel is more than reasonable to pay for it. And hopefully that's driven by a sense of capability or innovation or design. There's something about this car or your brand in general that makes people want to buy it, an advantage it's got over other brands. And we've got old models here. The Model Y is the newest one, and it's already 3-4 years old now. And of course, the Model 3, Model S, and Model X are all looking pretty old. There's revisions coming to the Model 3, but this is not a full redesign, and I don't think anyone expects it to be like transformative in the way the Model 3 drives or how it performs.
And be sure to watch this full interview right here at cbtnews.com. Well, that does wrap up our show for today, but we do invite you right back here tomorrow morning on cbtnews.com. And remember, you can stay up to date with the most recent news and trends influencing the retail automotive industry by following us on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm Shyann Malone. You have a good one.
CBT News, your #1 resource for auto industry news and content. CBT News is expanding its reach like never before and is launching in over 70 million broadcasting households. Whether you have Roku, Apple TV, or a mobile device running on Android or iOS, you can now enjoy our engaging, in-depth interviews with dealers, automakers, trade associations, best-selling authors, motivational speakers, and so much more, whenever and wherever you are. Simply search CBT News in the App Store of your smart TV